Hello everyone, welcome back once again. In this video, I will talk about cross-platform application development using Xamarin inside the Visual Studio 2019. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do. So what is Xamarin? Xamarin is an open source platform for building modern and performant applications for iOS, Android, and Windows with .NET Xamarin is an abstraction layer that manages communication of shared code with underlying platform code. Xamarin runs in a managed environment that provides convenience such as memory allocation and garbage collection. So let's get to it then. To be able to get started in terms of building a cross-platform application inside a Visual Studio, first of all, you're going to have to make sure that you've got mobile development with .NET installed. You can do that by coming inside the tools. I do this more often if you follow my channel. Get tools and features. You click on this bit and you will get this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have this bit checked. Mobile development with .NET checked. So once we've got that bit sorted out, then we can come back to the code. So before we start with the project, Xamarin enables developers to share an average of 90% of their application across platforms. This pattern allows developers to write all of their business logic in a single language or reusing existing application code, but achieve native performance, look and feel on each platform. So the Xamarin application can be written on PC or Mac and compile into native application packages, such as an APK for Android or an IPA for an iOS. So let's get to it then. First of all, we need to obviously go inside the file, create a new project or start window. So inside the start window, we can create a new project. So in here, we can select all platforms, projects, select a mobile project. So here, we can select this bit here, mobile application. So this will be a cross-platform mobile application. So once we click on this bit here, we can click on the next. So here we've got to configure your new project. So here you can set the project name, set the location and the solution name. We're not going to touch this bit here, so we're just going to continue and click on the create. So once we click on the create, we are prompted with this new cross-platform application dialog here. So here you can actually select what type of application or the template that you want to start with. In this case, we select the tabbed template, right? So here, the platform you can select. As you can see, we've got 3 platforms that we can actually tag as the iOS, Android, and Windows UWP, Universal Windows Platform. So here we were going to add the Universal Windows Platform, and as you can see here, the backend. So we can also include this ASP.NET Core Web API for the backend. So here we can check this bit here, this box here as well. So we've selected the tabbed, and we've checked all the boxes pretty much. So now we can click OK for the project to create. So while the project is being created, obviously, I'm just going to talk about the Windows system requirements to be able to get started or build and run the application. So using the Windows computer for Xamarin development requires the following um, software SDK versions that I'm about to lay out. You should check your operating system version and confirm that you are not using Express version of Visual Studio. If so, make sure you download the Visual Studio Community Edition, preferably the 2019 and upwards, the latest update. So the operating system for Windows is at least the recommended one is Windows 10. The minimum operating system version is Windows 7 for Xamarin.Forms. Xamarin.Forms UWP support requires Windows 10. So we also look at the system requirements for the Xamarin.iOS. So you should have a iOS 10 SDK installed on the Mac. To build the iOS project on Windows requires a Visual Studio 2017 upwards, but at least the 2019 is actually recommended. And you need to have a Mac computer network accessible from the Windows computer that conforms with the minimum requirement for running Xamarin on Mac OS. Then the Xamarin.Android, you can still target older Android versions while using the latest SDK, or you can build against older versions of the SDK if required. And also you can also actually download and install the Android emulator, which I've got on my channel, so you can have a look at it and you can install the Android emulator. So the Xamarin.Mac projects Xamarin.Mac projects desktop application can be opened in Visual Studio and compiled to check for errors, but Mac application cannot currently be built for distribution in Visual Studio. So now let's get to the code. So here we have got application one, app1.android.ios.uwp, and then the .web. So basically, we've got a universal Windows application here with all the necessary pages. And then we've got the Android, the Android.ios. So here the app here, this is where most of the design takes place, right? And then it actually reflects on these projects. So next bit is, of course, we're not going to look too much into the code for now, but we're just going to check how you can run all of the projects concurrently. So you can do that by coming in, right clicking the solution, and then coming and then set startup projects. So here you can set a single startup project, or you can set a multiple startup projects. In this case, we're going to set some multiple startup projects. We start the web. We start the UWP. We start the Android. So basically, I'm not going to start the iOS because I don't have a Mac connected to my computer right now. But if you have, you can also include the iOS and test all of them. So after selecting all the startup projects, we click apply, and then OK. So you can tell that you can see that we've got multiple startup projects here. So here now we can click on the start just to start the multiple projects. So as you can see now, we've got all the projects running now. So we've got the back end here. displaying all the sent message, the sent items here. So we've got the received items inside our UWP here now. And then we've also got our Android application displaying the same stuff. So as you can see, it's very simple stuff, not very complicated. But obviously, to be able to get started, okay, so we carefully check the project base or the Xamarin.Forms base here. So here we have got a module with a class item. Then we've got the view model here, item data view models, then item view models here. So here, this is where we've got the items view model, and then we've got item details view model here. So to understand this bit more, obviously you need to be very familiar with WPF. Yeah, so I suggest to be able to work on Xamarin.Forms more, you could take into learning more um, XAML code and possibly WPF. So I'm just gonna leave you here now, and I hope I've actually helped you to get started in terms of building your first cross-platform application. And I hope you expand your knowledge on this and build further. So once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do. And have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Peace.